Hey, what's up? It's Jordan Chiarelli. I am a fashion editor for the Reinhardt Eagle Eye, and today I am bringing you another podcast. So, me personally, I love doing these. I feel like talking and doing interviews is something that I'm super passionate about, so I'm also super excited about this. So today I have with me my roommate and one of my very best friends, Catherine Lee, which I am so excited about, and kind of like what my idea for this like podcast would be is to kind of have something for, Reinhardt girls almost, because I feel like our college experience is different, from other colleges, just because our college is a lot smaller and we just have, different things going on than something you would have happening at like UGA or Auburn or something like that. So I think sometimes when I listen to those podcasts from girls from those big schools, I'm like, oh, I don't know what it's like to have like 5 dining halls and like all these crazy things. So I think it's going to be nice to have something that's just for us girls, to do. So I guess we're just going to introduce ourselves because we're starting this whole thing. So I kind of said a little bit about me. I'm the fashion editor for the Eagle Eye. I'm also the student body vice president, and I'm in Zeta as well. I used to be the president for that, but now I'm just kind of sitting back and being a regular member. I graduate in May, so I am a senior. I am super excited about that, but obviously as I feel like it gets closer to graduation, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm graduating. So it's super intense. And then my major is marketing, and I have a minor in communications and media studies. Catherine?
Hi. So yes, my name is Catherine. I'm a senior, but I'm graduating in December. But I consider myself a senior. My major is elementary education, which I love. I also am in Zeta. That's how Jordan and I got to be such close friends. And I too am just kind of sitting back and enjoying being a member in the chapter this semester. I think also just because of being a senior, and Jordan and I were both founding members, and so we never until this semester had really gotten a chance to just sit back and enjoy the chapter as a regular member. We were always, involved either on the executive council or doing something for it. So we both wanted to have just, a fun time being a general member. So,
and I think too, like going off of what you just said, just even with like how she said we are founding members of our sorority, which is also such a very different experience than something you would get at like UGA or anything like that. Most of those sororities have been there for years, and you have like 1,000, have like 1,000 girls in the chapter. Like there's so many people, and I have a really good friend that goes to Arkansas, and she's like, I don't even know all the girls.
Oh yeah, my cousin is a Chi Omega in Auburn, and she said she was walking to class one day and she saw a girl wearing a Chi Omega shirt, and she's like, I've never seen that girl in my entire life.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because we know every single girl in our chapter, and I just, the thought of not even knowing, like not even seeing that person's face before and they're in your chapter is like definitely foreign to me.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too about like sororities. It's supposed to be like a sisterhood. So not knowing like these people that you're supposed to call your sisters also is like, it would be kind of weird,
Right, yeah.
But so I guess I feel like that experience, being a founding member, is so different. So like, what would you say was your favorite part of that?
Well, honestly, in kind of bouncing off what you said, again, like, at bigger universities, like, these chapters are founded in, like, I don't know, 1920 or something. Like, and they have history going back from then. So, the founding members of those chapters were from 1920, and the fact that we are, founding members of our chapter, like, very few people can say that, and I would say for me, that experience in itself is really, really cool. and something not many people can say. Also, it's really awesome because it's like, you know, I helped build something and start something that I'm passionate about, and it's really awesome to see like other girls like sharing that same passion for it, and it's been really awesome watching some of the younger underclassmen like take over. It's bittersweet, but it's also really like rewarding because you know that you've helped build that.
And I think, too, like, just in case anyone doesn't know what we're talking about. So when I first came to Reinhardt, there was no sorority.
Yes.
And
Jordan and I started the same year.
Yes. So basically, there was the fraternity, but I think it's changed a little bit just because Reinhardt was getting more into Greek life as when we started school, which was... Our chapter was founded in 2018.
Yes, of March.
Yeah, of March. So there was like obviously a full process before that where they came onto campus and kind of Zeta was trying to figure out if Reinhardt was a good place for them. And, Reinhardt was trying to figure out if Zeta was a good place for Reinhardt. Just kind of a lot of back and forth. And, basically, once they decided on that, then they started developing a chapter. So we had people from Zeta coming and recruiting us. We had interviews, all that kind of stuff. And then, it kind of started. I would say it's a very different experience, especially because we had like actual like people that worked with Zeta interviewing us
like
versus
at the headquarters.
Yeah, like at the headquarters versus now it's like we're interviewing girls, you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a little bit more pressure because you're like, oh my gosh, these people, like you really want to impress them versus if you're just talking to a friend, it's a lot more casual. So yeah, that's just was an experience. But leading into that on interviews, so today, actually it was yesterday, I had an internship interview and it did not go the way I planned just because it wasn't anything on my end, but the company basically, I feel like they almost did it in like a courtesy because they had already had all the interns filled, but yet they still like met with me, which kind of frustrated me because they asked me when I was free and I told them and they scheduled it for when I wasn't free. So then I had to like miss class, because I was like, could be a big deal. And then they rescheduled me twice, and it was just this really frustrating thing. And then come to find out, like, the interview was so short, which I thought was odd. And then less than 2 hours later, I get an email, and it's like, all the internships have already been filled. Please check back in the fall. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I think that was just something so frustrating for me because I've literally applied to so many internships. It's honestly concerning at this point and it's consuming my life. But I feel like as college students, we just put so much pressure on ourselves, especially when you're getting ready to graduate. And I feel like I'm so aware of that I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I need to have this great internship. I need to have like all these things. But I'm trying to just like learn that it's okay not to, and it's like okay to not have it all figured out because like none of us have it figured out. And I think that's something that's like, a really important thing to realize.
Oh yeah, and definitely about putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, so being an education major, and just in general, I put a lot of pressure on myself with literally everything. So for me, like, when I plan a lesson or when I'm going to teach, I always am like, this has to be perfect. And then I'm like, okay, these are third graders. They're not going to judge me. Like, if I forget a word or accidentally, misspeak. So that's what I remind myself of. And also, like, I'm not supposed to know it all. I have not been teaching for 35 years, so I'm not supposed to know it all. And so I kind of keep reminding myself that. So I definitely know how that feels about putting pressure on yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's even just like, sometimes I feel like I am a lot older than I actually am, and I'm like, wait, like, just calm down. You haven't even graduated yet. Like, it's all going to work out. It's going to be fine. And just like I said, I think that's something I definitely need to work on. It's just like being in the moment and realizing that I'm only 22 years old. I do not need to have it all figured out. I haven't even graduated yet. That's the first thing I need to be figuring out. So I guess I feel like a lot of people are in that same boat. So I would definitely say if you are feeling that way, especially for all the people that are getting ready to graduate, you know, being in a pandemic, oh my gosh, that just presents a whole new set of challenges. Just try and give yourself a break because
and you're not alone.
You're so not alone. Like, we're literally sitting here telling you we are in the same boat. A lot of our friends are in the same boat. I think we're just all trying to figure it out, and that's something to, you know, really understand and, you know, just cut yourself a break because we're all in this together. And, you know, being a college student is hard. Being a young adult is hard, and, you know, that's okay. So...
Oh, yeah. And this pandemic has definitely taught me a lot, and one of them being that you're doing the best you can.
Exactly. We're all just trucking along. Well, with that being said, that is the end of our podcast this week. But I would like to, you know, keep this going. So I kind of like this. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just talking about things and, you know, from a college perspective at a small school.
Yes.
A different perspective and different stuff like that. So hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully we'll be back soon with another podcast.
Bye.
Bye.